Chosen one, do not scroll. The moment your eyes found this message, something sacred began to stir. This is not a coincidence, it is divine timing. Deep down you felt it for a long time, that you were meant for something more, that there was a chapter of your story that never fully closed. Heaven has leaned in at this very moment. The noise around you fades because God is drawing a circle around this conversation with you. The Spirit of the Lord led you here because something tied to your name, long buried in silence, is now rising to the surface. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open. Luke 8:17. There is a lawyer searching for you, not to condemn you, but to deliver what rightfully belongs to you. Not one, but two divine assignments sealed and registered in your name have resurfaced. These are not debts, they are destiny. These are not legal threats, they are divine inheritances. You never signed for them, yet they carry your identity. These are not random opportunities, they are carefully preserved answers to prayers you thought heaven had forgotten. And heaven has declared, it is time. For months, forces worked in secret to erase the trail calls blocked. Letters burned, addresses changed, but truth is not easily silenced. Truth rides on the wings of angels and lands where it belongs. Tonight it found you. You called it delay. Heaven called it preservation. Right now in the spirit realm, your name is glowing red in a document never meant to be seen again. One of these inheritances reaches back to something you lost. The other points forward to something you are destined to gain. Together, they form a promise that cannot be broken. Not by time, not by man, not by darkness. The one holding your file was drawn to you by divine prompting through a referral marked with the letter M. This was no clerical error. It was written in the courts of heaven. And now the messenger arrives not to prosecute, but to fulfill prophecy. This is restoration. This is alignment. This is your appointed hour. The calendar on earth may show an ordinary day, but in the courts of heaven, this moment has been marked as a turning point. Now, as you step forward into this divine role, I invite you to declare your readiness. Type amen in the comments below as a sign of your acceptance, as a bold statement that you are ready to step into your God-given purpose. As you write it, see yourself not as a victim of what was taken, but as an heir rising to claim what grace has already written in your name. And stay with me until the very end, because we'll be closing with a powerful prayer that will activate this release. Your restoration has begun. What they tried to bury, heaven is now revealing. This is not just information, this is impartation. A spiritual release over your life that cannot be reversed. Chosen one, stop scrolling. This is not just another video, it's a divine interruption. A sacred moment carved into your timeline by the very hand of the Most High. What you're about to hear was hidden, buried under time, silence, and resistance. But heaven never misplaces what belongs to its own. The Lord will perfect that which concerns you. Psalm 138:8. And that perfection begins now. The lawyer didn't just appear, he was assigned. Weeks ago, before you even sensed the shift in the atmosphere, his path was aligned with yours. He didn't stumble across your file, it was revealed. And the moment his eyes landed on your legacy, the air in that office changed. Lights flickered, a silence fell. Something holy whispered through the room, and the weight of destiny settled over him. Don't miss this. You're not watching this by chance. You were meant to hear this word. Your name, yes, your name is echoing in rooms you've never walked into, on documents you never signed, in hearts that thought they'd forgotten you. But heaven has a memory sharper than any earthly system. The moment that file was found, a message was released in the Spirit. Return what belongs to the faithful. And the final line of that sacred record read, belongs entirely to the one who carries the mark of faith. That's you. The two things tied to your identity are not ordinary. They are rare gifts of divine justice. One material, one emotional. One answers a prayer, you stop praying. The other closes a wound, you stop touching. Together they carry healing. A full circle redemption that silences every voice that told you it was over. The enemy tried to keep them buried, but God said enough. Heaven's order overrides every earthly interference. And now, heaven's carrier paces the corridor, phone to ear, speaking in hushed tones. There's urgency in his steps, but reverence in his spirit. He knows he's not dealing with a typical client. He's carrying a message for the chosen. That's why this couldn't be emailed or mailed. It had to come by divine alignment, spirit to spirit. 13 months ago, these documents were sealed under a legal code that and now the law, yes, even the systems of man are bending back toward your legacy. Divine justice doesn't play favorites, but it always honors the faithful. This is not about revenge, it's about completion. The two things coming your way aren't objects, they're reflections of what you poured out without ever asking for. Return your patience, your sacrifice, your silence, your tears. Every moment you chose integrity over reaction. Every night you wrestled in private and still showed up in public, heaven saw it, and now heaven responds. There are two sealed envelopes inside a brown leather case. Both carry a red symbol etched in a way that can't be erased. The first, an apology written years ago by someone who wronged you so deeply, their name still stirs pain. But this letter is not about reopening wounds, it's about closing them. The second envelope, it holds access. Keys to something valuable that always had your name on it but was held back until now. That messenger doesn't even fully understand what he's carrying. He only knows that when he read your identity, peace flooded his chest. A holy stillness he couldn't explain. He said aloud, I don't know who this person is, but this feels destined. Yes, it is because the steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord. Psalm 37:23. And right now, every step around your legacy is moving under divine order. You've walked through seasons where nothing made sense, where doors slammed without warning and silence screamed louder than answers. But behind the veil, your record was being updated not by human hands, but by divine ones. Your labor in the Lord is not in vain, 1 Corinthians 15:58. And now what was hidden is being revealed. Even the lawyer's assistant tried to bury your file, slipped it beneath a stack of corporate claims. But every time she did, it rose back to the top. Eventually, even she whispered, it's like this file wants to be found. That's not coincidence, that's divine insistence. When heaven decides it's your time, not even man-made systems can hold it back. One of twin assignments as assets belongs to your lineage, something your family was supposed to receive, but never did. It skipped a generation until now. The other is deeply personal. It was written into an inheritance clause by someone who saw your heart long before you saw their value. These are not random blessings. They are surgical restorations. Heaven didn't just want to bless you, it wanted to correct what was done in silence. Right now, that lawyer is dreaming of your initials. He's feeling your energy in rooms you've never stepped into. His spirit is restless, not in fear, but in mission. He knows this task is not legal, it's holy. You are the reason he can't sleep. You are the reason the process won't rest until it finds its rightful end. And in just a few moments, the full truth will unfold. The messenger is about to reveal who authorized the documents, why your legacy was erased, and how this rediscovery will shift not just your paperwork, but your purpose. The truth is walking toward you now. And here's what shook him most. When he uncovered the original signature, the one that initiated the cover-up, he saw a name you once trusted without question, a person who never wanted you to find out what was yours, but now you know. And knowing changes everything. So keep your eyes right here, stay close. You're not in trouble, you're in alignment. The person who hid the truth is not your enemy. They are now your evidence. Not because revenge is coming, but because accountability is. You're about to see completion that feels like a movie, almost too perfect to believe, but undeniably real. You'll see how every heartbreak, every wrong turn, every delay wasn't wasted. It was setting the stage. Heaven's carrier found your current trace last night. He opened your file and something in his voice cracked. There was a handwritten note attached. It said, "Deliver personally. The soul has waited long enough. Chosen one, pause and breathe. Something enormous is about to happen." Even the wind outside his window responded when he tried to dial your number. Nature itself is in agreement. You can't outrun what's already yours. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Proverbs 10:22. This isn't just a delivery, it's a destiny reset. Inside that second envelope is a written transfer of inheritance. Both the emotional healing and the material blessing are to be released within 7 days of contact. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give supper thanks with contributions up to 120. I pay men to get blessing 100 million, not by convenience, by command. This is no coincidence. It's Kairos moment wearing the clothes of legal order. Heaven's carrier mind can't make sense of it. Your file was archived, deleted, buried. The system showed it no longer existed. But last night something strange happened. It reappeared. No IT department could explain it. No administrator had access. It simply returned, fully intact, fully active. This is not just technology, it's testimony. There are unseen forces working to ensure that your identity cannot be forgotten again. Don't ignore what you feel right now. The shivers, the heartbeat that's stirring in your spirit, that's confirmation. The world may have silenced your story, but truth always finds its voice. And today, it spoke your legacy out loud. The messenger is preparing to make his next move. He's placing both documents into a leather folder embossed with a golden seal. He keeps repeating under his breath, "This belongs to them. It's time." His journey begins at sunrise. No map, no GPS, just the pull of your name. And when it reaches you, it won't be about ownership. It will be about closure. It won't be about property. It will be about honor. You are about to receive the tangible proof that every tear was counted, every delay had purpose, and every betrayal only sharpened the edge of justice. Prophetic courier knows it. You can feel it. Heaven has confirmed it. Even now, the truth is on its way, carried by human hands, but moved by the power of God. I will restore you to health and heal your wounds. Jeremiah 30:17. What was stolen will be returned. What was silenced will be shouted. What was hidden will be honored. Twin assignments. Blessings that bear your name. Yes, your name are coming home. The time had come, and what unfolded next could not be missed. This is the moment the entire story turns. When Heaven's carrier opened the final confidential log file, he found one last name beside yours. It wasn't a stranger. It was someone who once promised to protect you. The room fell silent. The air shifted. Even the lawyer whispered, "No way." Because the signature matched the initials of someone who once had legal control over your past records. For years, they kept two major claims hidden, buried beneath your identity, believing time would erase their actions. But time cannot erase what God has written. What He opens, no one can shut. And what He shuts, no one can open. Revelation 3:7. Each document carries your spiritual imprint, a frequency, a mark of heaven. That's why no matter how deeply they tried to bury it, your truth kept rising. Every effort to block your blessing only made it shine louder, burn brighter, and echo longer. Prophetic courier, now trembling, went back through the archive. There, tucked between pages of legal jargon, was a folded letter, one you were never meant to see. It was handwritten and it said, "If you're reading this, I couldn't stop destiny. The truth belongs to them now." He read it aloud and something shifted in the room. A breeze, a stillness, a sacred silence. He realized then he wasn't just closing a case. He was fulfilling a prophecy. Chosen one, don't look away. There are moments in life when heaven stops everything to deliver something only you can receive. And this is one of those moments. What was once out of reach, what was sealed, silenced, and hidden is now making its way to you. Not by coincidence, by command. The vision awaits an appointed time. Though it linger, wait for it. It will surely come and will not delay. Habakkuk 2:3. Those two documents, the ones you've never seen, are not just legal files. They are sacred markers. One was born out of your pain, the other out of your purpose. And together they form a divine circle completed not by time, but by truth. Everything that's ever happened in your life, every delay, every tear, every unanswered prayer has been leading to this. You didn't wait in vain. You weren't overlooked. You were being aligned. The world calls it coincidence, but heaven calls it restoration. And now the law, yes, the very system that once seemed distant, has become the messenger of divine justice. Heaven's carrier is no longer just an official, he has become a vessel. The next report he carries is not being mailed, it's not being uploaded or passed along, he's delivering it by hand. The sacred transcript is custom made. Your legacy engraved in gold, catching the light like a sign from above. Every time he touches it, warmth pulses through his fingertips. He says it feels like holding the faith of someone who refused to give up. That someone is you. In just a few days, he will stand before you, not as a stranger, but as the carrier of your breakthrough. And when he speaks your identity, even time will seem to hold its breath, as if the entire universe is watching this sacred moment unfold. A reunion not between two people, but between truth and its rightful owner. Now, pause, breathe. Keep your eyes right here, because what's coming next is the heartbeat of the whole story. The messenger has just broken the final seal. Inside, he didn't find a cold document typed in legal jargon. He found a handwritten letter. The ink so faded, it looked like it belonged to another lifetime. And the moment he opened it, his hands began to tremble because every word felt like it had been written with a soul crying out for redemption. The first word, forgive me. I kept what was yours, but I couldn't destroy it. I was waiting for heaven to tell me when to give it back. Those words hit heaven's carrier spirit like thunder wrapped in mercy. Your name was glowing softly in the header, and in that room, quiet, still, untouched by noise, a strange warmth filled the space. The letter wasn't just a message, it was living destiny. It refused to die in the shadows. The one who wrote it had influence, power, control, but also guilt. They delayed your inheritance not out of hatred, but out of fear that you weren't ready. What they didn't know was this: your readiness came the moment you forgave them. Even when you didn't understand why, you chose peace over bitterness. You released what hurt you without needing revenge, and that was the key. That silent forgiveness unsealed what had been locked away. That single act of surrender triggered a cosmic shift, and now what was held back is returning not just legally, but divinely. Prophetic courier read the entire letter, unable to stop. When he reached the final line, his eyes welled with tears. It read, "Return everything to the rightful owner. Their light is the reason I found redemption." That's when he realized this wasn't a case. This was a promise written long ago, now being fulfilled through him. Sacred seals documents now in his care are not just about property or legality. One unlocks abundance, the other closes a chapter of loss for good. Together they answer the question your heart has quietly carried. Why did I have to walk through all that pain? Now you know. Because some stories only make sense at the ending. Something huge is waiting for you. That's why today even your environment is being called to prepare. Clean a corner of your room, rearrange your space. Completion often begins with readiness. When you make space in the natural, you send a signal to the spiritual. I'm ready to receive. Heaven always responds to preparation. Even the lawyer has started to see signs, repeating numbers, lights flickering, screens glitching with your initials. Even technology is obeying divine instruction. Why? Because when the truth is appointed to return, everything must move in agreement. And now, the final act begins. The messenger holds the sealed folder to his chest as he walks through the hallway. The air around him feels electric. Every wall feels like it's watching. A sudden wind lifts the corners of the documents. It's as if creation itself is escorting your promise forward. He's never seen your home, but now he dreams of it. A blue door, a light in the window, a nameplate tilted just slightly. And without maps or guides, every step leads him closer. He knows he's not following logic. He's following divine leading. Inside the sacred transcript, 2 envelopes wait your initials engraved in silver. The first one confirms ownership, proof that what was withheld now returns to your hands. The second, it's something deeper. The words read, you were never forgotten, you were being prepared. And when heaven's carrier read it, he whispered aloud, this doesn't sound like law, it sounds like love. He knows now this is not just legal, it's prophetic. As he draws closer, strange things begin to happen. Clocks freeze at 11:11, lights shimmer. His phone buzzes again and again, showing the number sequence that matches your birthday. Heaven is leaving breadcrumbs to make sure this moment cannot be missed. And then he arrives. He stands at your door. He doesn't knock yet. He waits. The folder is glowing slightly now, lighter than before, as if the burden is ready to lift. He places his hand on the door but pauses. He hears the whisper, be gentle. This moment is sacred. He knocks, and the sound, it's not ordinary. It echoes like a heartbeat across time. You may not hear it with your ears, but your spirit does. It's the vibration of healing, of what was lost, finally returning home. He opens the folder one last time. The papers shimmer faintly under sunlight. He speaks your legacy, and even the air exhales. Truth has taken a breath. When you take the sacred transcript, your fingers brush his. Nothing is said. Nothing needs to be. You know, in your spirit, in your bones. This is it. The moment you were born to meet. You open the first envelope. It's official. Every right has been restored. Every lie undone. Your story stands boldly framed in gold. This is not a gift. It's not a favor. It's what was always yours. The second envelope feels different, warmer. As you open it, a single sheet slides out. One sentence, elegant, timeless. You have 2. One to remember who you were. One to become who you're meant to be. And just like that, everything makes sense. Chosen one. This was never about documents. It was never about property. It was never about wealth. From the very beginning, this was about restoration, about healing what others tried to destroy, about God restoring what life, people, and time tried to erase. I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. Joel 2:25. And now, as the final chapter of this sacred moment unfolds, you begin to understand this was never just about what was taken. It was about who you were becoming while you waited. The lawyer smiles faintly. He doesn't need to say much. Just 3 words. It's done. And with that, he turns and walks away. But you remain still because something in the air has shifted again. A deep calm settles where chaos used to live. You feel it. The storm inside you has passed. The ache, the confusion, the unanswered waiting. It's been replaced by peace that doesn't even make sense. And that's how you know it's real. The peace of God which surpasses all understanding. Philippians 4:7 is resting on you. Now stay with me, because what happens after prophetic courier leaves is where the miracle truly begins. You hold the divine pair in your hand, but they don't feel like paper anymore. They hum with energy. Your fingers tingle. The air around you feels almost golden, soft, quiet, sacred. Every breath you take now carries weight, as if you're inhaling purpose itself. You open the letter again. You have two, one to remember, one to become. But this time something's different. The words shimmer slightly. They echo in your chest like they aren't just being read, they're being spoken from within you. And then, without warning, the world around you changes. The light pouring through your window bends gently. Even the sun seems to bow to this moment. And in that holy stillness, you see clearly every betrayal, every loss, every tear. It was never random. It was all part of a divine design leading you right here. The pain wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Down the street, heaven's carrier pauses. Something compels him to turn around. He looks back at your home, then softly whispers, "It's complete." He doesn't understand the tears forming in his eyes, but his soul knows he wasn't just delivering justice, he was delivering freedom. And somehow, in bringing your healing, a part of him was set free too. You remain in silence, letting the full weight of everything you've received begin to settle in your spirit. The first envelope holds what you earned through years of endurance, the blessings that were delayed, denied, or stolen, but never forgotten. The second holds who you're becoming now, a version of yourself you've never fully met until today. From this moment on, everything begins to shift. Delays begin to dissolve. Calls that once went unanswered start to come through. People who once forgot you suddenly remember. Resources begin to move in your favor, not because of luck, but because of alignment. You've stepped into a chapter that was always yours, one no one else could access, edit, or erase. You close the envelope and something happens. A warmth spreads through your palms. This is no ordinary letter. It's activation, a spiritual release. Twin assignments, once hidden truths, are now standing in light. What was once part of your secret story has become your public testimony. This isn't just completion, it's resurrection. Stay right here, because from this day forward, everything that carries your legacy will rise. Not by effort, by authority. The lawyer's part is finished, but yours has just begun. You're not stepping into the spotlight, you're stepping into your assignment. And the world will finally see what heaven has always known. You were never lost. You were preserved for the perfect moment. Don't move, don't scroll. Because this next part, it will send chills down your spine. What you're feeling now isn't hype. It's the aftershock of divine timing, finally catching up with everything that was spoken over your life long ago. The moment your hands touched that sacred transcript, something unseen was activated. A signal was released not just through paper, but through the atmosphere. In the realm of spirit, everything responds to truth. And now you're seeing it, numbers repeating, unexpected peace, messages you didn't anticipate. These aren't strange coincidences, they're confirmations. Back in the office where it all began, prophetic course screen flickers one last time. A message appears, case permanently transferred, divine code 211, ownership complete. It doesn't come from any legal system. He knows it came from a higher court. He stares in awe. He's never seen anything like it before, because he hasn't just witnessed justice, he's witnessed God's hand. At that same moment, you feel a breeze move through your room even though the windows are shut. That's not air, that's the seal. The divine acknowledgement that the cycle is over. What was once blocked is now open. What was once hidden is now visible. The energy that clung to your identity, the confusion, the resistance, the weight is lifting. Patterns that bound you are breaking. The delays that haunted your prayers are dissolving. You are being repositioned not by effort but by divine order. Blessings that have had your legacy carved into them long before you knew your purpose are now moving toward you. And then one last thing happens. The messenger receives a final call, unknown number. He answers. A calm, gentle voice speaks. The delivery has been received. The rest will unfold naturally. The voice doesn't say who they are, but when the call ends, peace rushes over him. His assignment is over, but he knows he was never just doing work. He was walking in destiny's service. And you, oh chosen one, you begin to notice it too. The light feels different now. Mornings carry more clarity. Even the air feels lighter. The atmosphere around you isn't just changed, it's healed. This is what restoration feels like when heaven finishes a promise. Chosen one. From this moment forward, something in the unseen will begin to shift. The two you've received, the documents, the symbols, the silent witnesses of your journey, are more than ink and intention. They are movement, they are manifestation. They are heaven's answer wrapped in earthly form. And now what was once hidden will begin to appear publicly. People around you will sense it without explanation. Doors once shut will begin to unlock. Opportunities that seem to evaporate will find their way back. What the world ignored, heaven has already endorsed. And now the world is catching up. Your story is no longer a whisper in the shadows. It is protected. It is sealed. It is marked. Hold your breath. Don't blink, because this is the moment when the story shifts from revelation to reward. The lawyer's task is complete, but what has now been activated through those two envelopes will affect everything you touch from this day forward. You place them on your table, not realizing what they carry. They hold more than paper. They hold vibration. The atmosphere shifts around them. The room hums with quiet power. You can't see it, but you can feel it. A still frequency pulsing through your space, rewriting the energy of everything familiar. Stand now. Even if it feels strange, lift your hands like someone ready to receive. Speak one simple line, Lord, I receive what is mine. That act of faith doesn't wait for emotion. It doesn't ask for certainty. It simply aligns your body with what heaven has already decided. Faith always moves before feelings catch up. And that warmth blooming in your chest, that's confirmation. That's alignment taking root in real time. One of those envelopes carries earthly authority. Tangible confirmation. A document that says, what was withheld is now yours by law. But the other is greater. It speaks with the voice of eternity. It says, your name is written in light, not in ink. You are known, you are restored. And now the second envelope begins to live. It unfolds itself in signs. You may begin to see messages that speak your truth. Lyrics in passing songs. Words in casual conversation. Strangers who look at you like they've known your soul before they've heard your legacy. These aren't accidents. They are the first ripples of awakening. Evidence that something ancient and divine is stirring beneath the surface. In a quiet office, prophetic courier sits alone. His screen is blank now. Your file gone, vanished as if it never existed. But he smiles because deep down he knows this wasn't about documents. This was destiny choosing its rightful owner. Meanwhile, your spirit is elevating. Confusion is giving way to clarity. Peace is settling where anxiety once ruled. Even your physical surroundings begin to shift. Life flows differently now. Communication is smoother. People listen when you speak. Even the air around you feels softer, cleaner, lighter, because something huge is waiting for you. The divine pair were never about receiving. They were about remembering. One represents your strength, the other your truth. Together they prove what delay tried to deny. That Kairos moment cannot be outwitted, outmaneuvered, or overthrown. This is your crossover. You're no longer waiting to be found. You're in a season where blessing is following you. You're no longer knocking on doors. Doors are recognizing your voice and opening before you arrive. What once left you empty is now returning full, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Luke 6:38. Heaven's carrier mission was the start, but this is your arrival. Don't miss what's happening in the quiet. The first envelope is already working behind the scenes. Records are being updated, names restored, systems corrected, files that once removed. You are now re-entering your identity, not by human effort, but by divine correction. The second envelope, though smaller in size, holds the greater key. Inside isn't information, it's frequency, a message encoded for your spirit. Every time you revisit it, something inside you realign. You breathe deeper, you stand taller, you begin to trust the invisible again. Even the lawyer's life is changing. He doesn't know why promotions are landing unexpectedly, why rooms he never imagined are now opening to him. But we know that's divine reciprocity, because when truth is honored, everyone connected to that truth rises. And now old faces begin to return. Conversations reopen. Hearts once closed soften again. Opportunities long shut find their way back to your doorstep. Not because of anything you chased, but because you were positioned. Sacred seals that were once withheld have now become your credentials, your signature of arrival, your reminder that patience is never wasted when placed in the hands of a God who cannot lie. Even now at night, you may feel a gentle warmth near your chest. That's not emotion, that's your timeline aligning with heaven's design. You're no longer pushing, you're drawing. You're not searching. The first, the legal document, represents the physical healing, the correction, the record, the earthly reward. It's the outer sign that heaven's order has reached earth. Every false label removed, every wrong record erased. Your legacy has been placed in alignment with light. But the second, the letter, it wasn't written for your mind, it was scripted for your soul. It carries divine coding. The kind of message that wakes up gifts buried beneath pain. The moment your fingers touched it, a current was released, unseen but undeniable. The kind that quietly begins pulling back what once seemed lost forever. Heaven's carrier doesn't know this, but he wasn't just assigned, he was appointed. He was the carrier of your awakening, not by coincidence, by design. His assignment was never legal, it was spiritual. His role made sure you receive physical proof of a promise heaven made long ago. Look closely now at your life.
And I